Hello anime lovers, it's Nats from Aninats channel. I'm gonna bring you some cool anime scenes, compilation, and reviews from animes that I personally watched. So, let's get started. In this video, I'm gonna bring you an action anime series about a strong-willed boy named Ikoma, which bitten by a zombie but managed to prevent himself to turn into one. The story is deep, and the action itself is intense. Let's start the story. The armored train, Koutetsujou, is attacked by Kabane, a humans transformed into zombie-like creatures as a result of a virus. They attack everyone inside. The Buzzy must have fight them at all cost. However, soon after a Buzzy bitten by a Kabane, and commits suicide to avoid transforming into Kabane. At Aragane Station, Ikoma, stand to being a steam smith, is trying to come up with a powerful gun that would blast the Kabane in one shot. He hoped that this weapon would help to fight the Kabane. But despite all his efforts, he is detained for insubordination and is visited by a girl named Mume in secret. The girl takes an interest in his personality. Later on, another train arrives at the station. The wall is lowered so train may pass. But because it has controlled by Kabane, the train crashed and sending the Kabanes inside the station. Ikoma sees the confusion and makes a run for it. Ikoma lures the Kabane into his house and killing it with a bolt gun he invented. Ikoma was bitten by a Kabane, but because of his skills, he manages to stop the virus spreading to his brain. This makes Ikoma have a body of a zombie, but sanity as a human. Being successful in doing so, Ikoma maintains his human form and loses consciousness. At the same time, Mume is in action as she kills a Kabane, using a blade which forms a part of her shoe. Finally coming to his senses, Ikoma surprised by his feat and tells his fellow steamsmith, Takumi, about all that's happened, and how he managed the antivirus technique that can be used. At the same time, the people who survived the Kabane attack, fight within the Aragane station. They tried to seek an opportunity to escape in Koutetsujou. As all of this is going on, Mume arrives in her fighting gear and clears the way. This enables Yukina, the only engineer there, able to commandeer and control the Koutetsujou. Mume then jumps into the Kabane mess and blow them away. Meanwhile, Ikoma and Takumi along with the surviving citizens board the train as quickly as possible. But something seems different about Ikoma, and that is a major concern for Mume. Afterwards, Ayame Yamagawa comes up with the special key to start the train's engine. One of the Buzzy, Kurusu, instructs Mume to make sure that the train's rear is free of Kabane, but she just falls asleep not lending a hand. Later on, while fighting off Kabane, Ikoma's injury is seen by everyone, and he's forced to get off the Koutetsujou. But not soon after, the train stops all of a sudden because of a malfunctioning bridge, and everyone from earlier witness Ikoma defends them by killing the Kabane. He then takes matters into his own hands and lowers the drawbridge, making the train able to resume its travels. Despite the Buzzy being totally against it, Mume and Takumi vouch to get Ikoma back on the train. Just when Kurusu was about to kill him, Mume interferes and tells him that she and Ikoma are the same beings that stand in the middle of being a human and Kabane. After hearing this, Kurusu is ready to kill them both, but it's stopped by Ayame, who tells everyone how Ikoma and Mume are the reason they're still hiding here in one piece. The train is set to the Shogun's greatest stronghold, and Mume insists on being there on the train. But considering the two Kabaneri recently added the shortage of food and water and the current state of affairs, the survivors are doubtful and distressed to no end. Mume then tells Ikoma about her mission and how she needs his help to accomplish it. The two start training together. Later on, the train has to stop for the purpose of restocked and repair, and the survivors pray for the departed souls. Ikoma then tells Mume how he wants to avenge his sister's death at the hand of the Kabane. He also tells her about the green stone tied to his palm which reacts to the Kabane in a certain way. After hearing this, Mume also reveals to Ikoma how a Kabaneri can only survive on human blood, and soon after kills a pregnant woman who transforms into a Kabane. At the same time, Ayame attacks Ikoma just let everyone know about his vow, making the passengers calm down a little. But Ikoma starts acting strange because of his thirst for blood and attacks Ayame. Kurusu manages to save Ayame, and at the same time Kabane start to appear in the woods, surrounding the Koutetsujou, making everyone board the train as quickly as possible. But the fear of the Kabaneri is still there. Some survivors forced Ikoma to hand over the master key. They then make the Koutetsujou take a shorter route to their destination, going through the mountains in spite of the increased danger posed by the Kabane on the exposed mountain path. For those who disagrees are sent in the back together with Ikoma and Mume. The Kabane attacks really happened, and also this time include a sword-wielding Kabane that is much more adept and proficient at combat. Ikoma and the other Buzzy fight the Kabane while the other passengers make it to the train's front. At the same time Mume, Ikoma, and their allies escape from their car and fight the Kabane. But once again Mume falls asleep from the exhaustion. Koutetsujou fights the sword Kabane from earlier, but gets injured during the exchange of blades. Meanwhile, Ikoma is in the need of some human blood. Ikoma then cut her arm to give him the blood right away. Ikoma then proceeds to kill the sword Kabane and manages to win. The people on the train celebrates the victory. Ikoma then gets her hands on the master key once again, and declares that the Kabaneri would stay on the train, also offering them blood during the time. Ikoma's friends and Koutetsujou ends up agreeing with her. Ikoma then helps the Buzzy develop weapons to kill the Kabane, and Ikoma makes the two bodyguards of the train. The train finally arrives at the station, which has also been attacked by the Kabane. The rescued human survivors tell about a black fog appearing before the attack. Mume then meets up with a crippled fighter who is still loyal to her brother. He gives her the heads up that the shogunate is stockpiling weapons, advising her to complete her mission as soon as possible. Afterwards, ruins and debris blocking the train path, and the Koutetsujou committee decides to use a crane to remove it. Ikoma suggests a route to the crane that doesn't sound like the best one. But Mume insists that a head-on clash with the Kabane is the hour of need right now. Ikoma then leads the engineers to the crane while Mume attacks the Kabane all on her own. She doesn't have more than 90 seconds. The girl ends up defeating the Kabane. But there doesn't seem to be an end of them. The repair crew retreat and Ikoma lift the debris with a crane. When Mume uses her last bit of energy to fight the other Kabane showing up, the weakened and exhausted Mume making things looks bad. But Ikoma rushes to the rescue. At the same time a behemoth of a shadow jumps at the train. The black fog from earlier is revealed to in fact be a colony of Kabane that are fused into one giant piece. Being stuck and unable to move, the Koutetsujou goes back to the station workshop and the doors get shut. Ikoma save Mume from under the rubble. The committee then discuss about the options they have available. Meanwhile, being unable to save Mume, Ikoma lures the Kabane away from Mume, killing as many as he can before reaching his limit. Afterwards, Koutetsujou and some others rescue Mume by a tunnel. Mume then runs to find Ikoma, who is badly wounded, and everyone returns to the train altogether. The black fog beast is distracted and kept away. It feeds on the bodies of the Kabane. Ikoma managed to remove the wreckage and Mume makes suggestions planned to kill the beast. Everyone then leave the workshop while the shadowy beast is still in pursuit. At the last possible moment, they shoot the beast with the train's cannon. Mume kills the woman controlling the shadow beast, who turns out to be someone unexpected. She is surprised to know that the mastermind was a Kabaneri like her. Now with the beast defeated, the Koutetsujou leave the station and then makes its way to the Satori station. The station is still occupied by humans, but they are only allowed to stay for a couple of days at most. Mume then reveals to Ikoma that her name was Hozumi before she became a Kabaneri. Ikoma promises that he will make her a human again. The next day an elite hunter squad arrive. Biba, the shogun's son, is the leader. Mume calls him her brother. However, Ikoma feels suspicious of Biba's past, and whether he is really a hero. Ikoma suspects that Biba turned Mume into Kabaneri, giving her the name Mume for his own purposes. Ikoma discovers soon that Biba is in fact transporting Kabane on his train. Biba uses Mume to prevent him from entering the carriage. Ikoma's suspicions are now strengthened him now, being convinced that Biba is not a hero, and somehow has a secret evil plan. After arrives at the station, the guard refused the Koutetsujou to enter. Biba then arrange a plan, and instruct Mume to open the gate. Afterwards, the Kabane in Koutetsujou attacking the city. Mume then feels horrified by what she has just done. Meanwhile, Biba's men take Ayame hostage. They also kill the shogun's samurai for what Biba said as retribution for the shogunate cowardness for the past 10 years. Biba is a firm believer that only the strong should survive. Afterwards, Biba inject one of his Kabaneri with a serum so that she can become the heart of another black fog beast. This ends up gathering all the Kabane to a single colony and create more chaos. Later on, Biba and his men controls the devastated station. Mume then comes to realize that everything Biba has told her was a big lie. However, now Biba and his troops are in control of the train and its passengers and are using their blood to feed his Kabane. Biba then offers a deal to Ayame. He states that if she can open the gates to Kongakaku, where her father rules, he will guarantee the safety of her people. He goes on to tell Ayame about the time when his father sent him and 400,000 troops to fight the Kabane. But later on, when the replacement supplies failed to arrive, they were overrun and wiped out. Meanwhile, Ikoma comes up with an audacious plan with some of the passengers to retake control of the situation. Biba then offers Mume a chance to join his troops. But she refused and is forced to take the captive vaccine. Ikoma's group then start their attack to take control of the Koutetsujou. But Biba have anticipated a counterattack and confront Ikoma. He ends up killing Takumi and Biba calls on Mume to attack Ikoma. She can't refuse his order due to Biba's captive vaccine from earlier, stabbing Ikoma, who then falls from the train and get washed up into a coast shore. He then found by Kurusu, who has gone missing not long ago. Biba then inject Mume with the same liquid that create the black fog beast. Afterwards, the Koutetsujou arrive at Kongakaku. Ayame pretends to have Biba prisoner so they can be taken to meet with the shogun. Biba then tricks the shogun into holding a sword tainted with the Kabane virus. The sword soon transforms him into a Kabane. Biba then kills him, then goes on to announce the Kabane are among them. This ends up causing a panic, and people start killing each other out of fear. The Koutetsujou enters the city and release the Kabane. Meanwhile, Ayame escapes with the help of her uncle. Kurusu has one of Biba's scientist prisoners, who has knowledge about all the Kabane virus is capable of. The scientist tells how Mume can be saved by injecting white plasma into her heart. Upon hearing this, Ikoma insists being injected by black plasma, something that will give him additional strength. However, it will accelerate the Kabane virus and shorten his life. Afterwards, Mume begins her transformation. Ikoma and Kurusu enters Kongakaku drawing the Kabane towards them. Ayame persuade the people to stop attacking each other in fear. With Kurusu's help, Ikoma able to reach Mume, who is now has transformed. He destroys everything that gone in his way to reach Mume. Mume seems to be unconscious and unaware of what she's become. He ends up calling her memories from the past and imagining herself surrounded by butterflies. Ikoma reaches Mume and confronted by Biba, who is revealed to be another Kabaneri. They gone into a fierce fight which ends with Biba's loss. Mume seems to understand that Ikoma is near, and she allows him to inject her with the white serum. This ends up returning her to her previous form. Ikoma becomes unconscious, but soon starts to recover and the effects of black serum seem to diminish. As an afterthought, Mume hand him back his green stone. And the story ends up well with Mume cured from the virus. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, as I will bring you more anime videos soon. See you guys later.